Joining us right now, we have WWE superstar, Total Divas star, Natalya. Natalya, thanks so much for joining us. Total Divas next season starts October 2nd on E. From what I've seen, it's a bit challenging for you, and coming from someone else who has lost a parent, I understand you're still grieving with your father's loss this season. What can the viewers maybe expect from you and the other ladies this season?
I mean, I think when you lose a parent or a family member or a loved one or even a close friend, it never really goes away. Mm-hmm. And for me, while we were filming the show, we were doing our filming like just a few months after my dad had passed away. So for me, it's not like, I'm sure anybody that's lost somebody can relate. Like, you don't just have a funeral and you're like, okay, we're fine now. Like, mm-hmm. It takes time to process everything and work it out. And of course, all that was happening during filming. And, we have some new cast members on the show, and Ronda is one of them, Ronda Rousey. Carmella is back on the show. And then Sonya from Smackdown, Sonya Deville, she's on the show as well. So it's myself, Naomi, Nia Jax, Ronda, and Sonya. And, it's going to be a great season. But I think with Ronda being on the show, mm-hmm. I don't think anyone really expected Ronda to be on the show. And with her being on the show, you see this totally different side of her. And, Ronda's lost a parent as well. Her dad passed away when she was quite young. And, it's funny how we just connected on so many levels, not just in the ring and not just with her journey in WWE, but also about loss. And I think this season's so important because, we still continue to celebrate everything that we do in the ring. And this season covers the first ever women's main event of WrestleMania. So that's very cool in itself. But talking about the things that happen behind the scenes, everybody's journeys, you see all of us in the ring and we're always so fierce, but behind the scenes, we're human. Mm-hmm. And I love being able to share that. That's why the show is so important to me. Is to be able to show people that are watching, like, I cry too. I cry just like people do at home. We're tough as nails in the ring, but we're also real. Mm-hmm. We're people that go through the same things that every other person in the world goes through.
How much has your life changed since just filming Total Divas? Because on that show, you get that curtain, if you will, being pulled back a little bit more into your personal life outside the ring. Has it affected you more maybe being on that show than in the ring?
Well, I think that my how do I say this without sounding arrogant? My popularity, I'm more recognized from Total Divas in a lot of ways. Like it's a little bit more mainstream for me, whereas WWE sometimes is a little bit more niche, for people that are wrestling fans and that are fans of WWE. But for me, being on Total Divas since the very beginning for 9 seasons, close to 150 episodes, I don't just have the WWE fan following me and following what I do, but I also have people that watch E. So it's cool because I get to experience the best of both worlds. But I absolutely love being on Total Divas. I have loved every moment of that show. And I think if there was one thing that I'm the most grateful for being on Total Divas and having it affect my life and change my family's life and for the better, might I add, is that I was able to share so many incredible moments with my family, mm-hmm. with my dad, with my sisters, with my mom, with my husband, and with my best friends, my WWE family. I was able to document those moments on TV and share those moments with the rest of the world that, sometimes when you tune into Monday Night Raw, you only get a little glimpse of who we are. Mm-hmm. But to know about more of who I am from Total Divas, it allowed my dad to have a spotlight when he wasn't wrestling anymore. And so I have so many great memories and moments just from the show that are documented that I can go back and watch and go, oh, I love that. Or, it's to me, it's just been such a great way to share my journey and to relate to people.
No, for sure. And speaking of your father, too, has there been any piece of advice he used to give you, maybe either growing up or whatnot, that sticks with you to this very day?
My dad actually gave me some of the best advice I've ever been given. And he always told me just to have fun. And he said, when you're going to work and you're in the ring and you're trying to please everyone, you're trying to please Vince McMahon, you're trying to please the fans, you're trying to please your opponent, you're trying to please the producers that you're working with, he's like, make sure that you're having fun, because when you make yourself happy, you always will end up on top. And I took that with me. I mean, even when I was competing last week at Madison Square Garden, which, my family's had so many special moments at Madison Square Garden. But for me, I think just being able to have fun in the ring, that's when you start doing your best work. And my dad he always told me just to have fun. And I think sometimes people miss that. Sometimes people get so caught up in certain things, myself included. But when you go back to the roots of what we do in WWE, what we do in WWE is fun. It's one of the most fun jobs that you could possibly have. So I never want to lose sight of that. And my dad always reminded me to think about that and focus on the fun part of what we do.
WWE 2K20 coming out in October is also going to be showcasing the Women's Evolution, and it's going to have 15 matches featured in it, showcasing the span of the whole Women's Evolution, if you will. And you're going to be featured, I believe, in 2 of those matches in the video game. What do you think about women being featured now in a story mode for video games now with this whole evolution that you guys have been having?
Well, it's funny. I was talking to Becky Lynch about this the other day, and it's like, women aren't just like, oh, that was a good girls match, or that was a great, those girls had a good match. It's now like, that was an awesome match on that show. And I look back at my match with Becky Lynch at SummerSlam, and it was like, I'm so proud of that match, because it wasn't just like, oh, that was a good girls match on the card. There was 3 girls matches. It was probably, it was a good one. It was one of the best, I feel, and this is just me putting myself over. I feel like it was one of the best matches on the show. It wasn't just like we were being categorized as women. We had a great story, and our storytelling and our journey and, everything leading up to that match, and our execution and creativity and delivery and just the journey. And it's like, it makes me so proud to think that women aren't just like, that wasn't just a great women's match. We're leveling out the playing field. It's like, no, and that's the great thing about WWE, with so much expansion in the company, with, NXT going to the USA Network, and with, Raw and SmackDown, and SmackDown going to Fox, which is an even bigger platform for SmackDown to have, to really get a spotlight, and NXT UK. We just have so many ways for women to showcase their talent.
Sure.
And not just be, that's good for girls, but that's a great wrestling match.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And you just mentioned it right there, too. A few things with, SmackDown is going to Fox, and based on the promos that I've seen, WWE looks like they will be represented by the Fox universe very well. What can you have to say about this whole big move, and at least for SmackDown moving over to Fox?
Oh, I think it's amazing. And it's like, I think change is good, and change always brings about a fresh approach. And I think, there's a huge push for SmackDown to Fox, and you see all these ads on Fox. And, even when we were watching football the other night, you just see all these commercials for SmackDown coming to Fox, and you feel that enthusiasm from Fox. You feel their excitement, and it gets everybody else excited. And obviously, WWE has a great partnership with the USA Network, but I think the change is exciting. I think it's good for us. We have a great partnership with E. We have a great partnership with USA. WWE now has a great partnership with Fox, and Fox feels like a good fit. It's a little edgy, and I think like WWE is edgy. It's edgy, it's fun, it's exciting, it's family friendly, but I think change is good, and I think it's a great step.
Oh, sure. And lastly, one more thing. You mentioned NXT also moving to USA Network. Now, for maybe the casual fans out there, to where all the hardcore fans know NXT, they know that's on the WWE Network. But with this move to USA, basically putting them on the same platform, if you will, as Raw or SmackDown on cable TV, do you think maybe some of the fans will look at NXT now as that third brand, and not so much as, that they're like the developmental brand, if you will?
Well, absolutely. I think NXT going to USA I think it's long overdue, because as NXT has grown, even the Performance Center, I mean, it's like it's getting to the point where it's becoming so impressive and so successful that it needs change. And I think that, it's funny, the last time I was in the Performance Center, I saw all these different things that were added to it that I hadn't seen before. They have this whole, digital wing in the Performance Center, and I'm like, because the world is evolving. It's not just television-based, it's also becoming digital. A lot of stuff we see is, everything is evolving and advancing and growing at such a rapid pace, and, for WWE, I think that was the next step for NXT, for it to be on a bigger platform, because when we do shows like SummerSlam and Rumble and WrestleMania and Survivor Series, we feature NXT shows, and those shows they do so well, and you can really get a pulse and a gauge for like, okay, there's an interest. There's a huge interest for NXT, and they have an incredible roster of talent. And for me, the biggest question is like, okay, so now that we have NXT on USA, what's the process as far as talent getting moved over? And I'm even interested as a talent going, I want to go and work on NXT on the USA Network. Like, I want to have a match against Shayna. I want to work with Rhea Ripley. So for me, I'm like, all kind of feeling like the playing fields are becoming even, and it's not just a developmental territory. It's really cool. It's just expanding.
At the end of the day, is this kind of like the best time to be a woman in wrestling now with all the opportunities?
Sometimes I think about it, and there's I have a couple of different emotions on it, because we had to fight for so long to get what we're getting now, but we finally got it. And so for me, I look back and I'm like, oh, like I wish we had this earlier, because I wish I could have showcased this when I was debuting, or when I was when Beth Phoenix was still an active part of the women's division. But listen, we have it now. I'm grateful for it. Timing is everything, and I feel like because we struggled so hard to get it, we appreciate it more now. And now that the company is finally going, listen, the WWE Universe spoke up. They want more girls. They want more women's matches. They're all about girl power. And so the stars aligned, and it's like it's never been a better time to be a woman in the WWE. But now we can finally really embrace it and just run with it.
For sure. Well, Natalya, thank you so much. We're looking forward to the new season of Total Divas, and we can't wait for Smackdown on Fox, amongst other things. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you so much.